I'm Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief of USA Today, and this is Capitol Download. We're on Capitol Hill with Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. It's good to be with you.
You are the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee considering this big Iran deal. Do you think the Iran nuclear deal is a good deal for the United States?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. We have a 2-month period to review the agreement. The bottom line, the evaluation that we will use is to determine whether we are better off with this agreement in stopping Iran from becoming a nuclear weapon state, or whether we're worse off. And that's going to be, I think, how most members make their judgment. It doesn't end their nuclear program. It contains it. It gives us much more information about what Iran is doing in nuclear development. It gives us eyes on what's happening in Iran. It gives us inspections. It gives us enforcement if they violate the agreements. We have to determine whether that will stop Iran from any method to become a nuclear weapon state, including covert activities.
You know, that issue of the 24-day delay before you can do an inspection has raised a lot of concern. I know you met today with the Energy Secretary, Secretary Moniz. Does he reassure you that that is not a way that would permit Iran to really cheat on this deal?
I think Secretary Moniz is confident from the technical position that we have ample time to determine whether Iran is violating the agreement in order to take action.
So your single biggest concern about this deal, your unanswered question, what would it be?
Iran is known to want a nuclear weapon. We can't trust them. I think the major concern is, what is their ultimate goal? Are they trying to wait us out? Are they trying to figure out a way that they can cheat? That's going to be, I think, our greatest concern.
Critics say that President Obama and Secretary of State Kerry wanted the deal too much, signaled that to the Iranian negotiators, and failed to get the best possible deal. Does that seem to you to be a fair criticism?
I think they have a valid point, that is Secretary Kerry, that when you take a look at inspections, that this is one of the most intrusive inspection regimes that any country has ever agreed to. I think that's true. They also point to the fact that when they entered into the interim agreements, those critics said, well, that will never hold. Iran would cheat and you'd never be able to pull back their program. And in fact, the program did move in the direction we wanted it to. So I think you can't really try to second guess at this point. The question is it good enough? Does it protect us? Will it stop Iran from becoming a nuclear weapon state?
If the deal goes through by virtue of a presidential veto or however, should the administration take some additional steps to reassure Israel, to offer more military aid, to take additional steps to reassure Israel about its security?
If this agreement goes forward for whatever reason, then I think we have to recognize that Iran could have greater capacity. That under any diplomatic solution, they would be able to use their own resources without the current restrictions. So they're going to have more capacity. If they use that to help develop their own country, that's great. If they use it to interfere with other countries in that region, including Israel, or use it to increase terrorist activities or to do other types of activities that are against our interest, then we have to be prepared to act. And nothing in this agreement prevents us from acting in regards to non-nuclear related activities of Iran. That includes helping our friends, and whether it's Israel or the Gulf states that we're friendly with. Yes, we should be prepared to provide the necessary help to make sure that they are secure.
And is this a message you've given the Obama administration?
We have had conversations with the Obama administration. As you know, we've had visits from many of the regional partners that we have in that region. They've expressed concerns about Iran having more capacity. And yes, I think there's a general agreement that we must reinforce our commitment to the security of our friends.
President Obama spoke to a veterans group, and he likened opponents of the Iran deal to those who supported the invasion of Iraq, saying it's the same kind of refusal to embrace diplomacy. Does that seem like a fair comparison to you?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I oppose going into Iraq. I opposed going into Iraq because they were not responsible for the attack on our country on September the 11th. I think the Iranian agreement has to be evaluated as to what course is the best to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear weapon state. I think it's a different set of factors. There's rarely two circumstances that are identical. This one I don't think is a good comparison.
Here's what some people who support the White House say is going to happen. Congress will pass a resolution of disapproval. the president will veto it, the Congress will be unable to override that veto. It's a pretty low bar, 34 senators. Isn't that a kind of safety net for the administration, that they should be able to count on holding at least the 34 senators they would need to avoid an override of his veto?
You know, it took 2 years to negotiate this agreement, 2 months of hard last-minute negotiations in Vienna, and then it took 2 weeks to hammer out the last few details. It's going to take Congress more than a couple days to figure out where we should do with this. So we have 2 months. And I think the leadership, the Republican leadership, is going to take some of that time before making a decision on how to proceed.
Just to talk for a moment about politics, you're backing Hillary Clinton for president?
I am, yes.
Your colleague Bernie Sanders has done pretty well in attracting crowds and making some inroads in the poll. Are you surprised, and are you concerned?
He has a way of expressing himself that I think excites people. So I'm excited that he's in the race. I think he gives energy to the Democratic Party and gives energy to the campaign. At the end of the day, I am convinced Hillary Clinton will not only be our nominee, I think she will become the next president of the United States.
Any risk, though, that Bernie Sanders pulls the party to the left in a way that isn't helpful for Hillary Clinton in a general election?
Our party has a very broad tent, and I think these discussions are helpful to our party. So I think having Bernie Sanders in the race, having Martin O'Malley in the race, all that is helpful to our party.
Martin O'Malley from your home state, he's not getting any traction. You didn't choose to endorse him. Why not?
Martin O'Malley's, I have the utmost confidence in him. He did a great job as governor of Maryland. He's a friend of mine. I had to make a choice, and I made a choice for Hillary Clinton.
Senator Ben Cardin, thanks for joining us on Capitol Download.
Thanks.